we have a speaker who is a prepared speaker, and the speaker gets around 10 to 15 minutes or maximum 20 minutes to talk about their life. When the speaker talks about their life, they talk about the experiences that shook them, the experiences in their life that probably changed the course of their life or defined who they are today. While doing that, the speaker also deliberately ponders on the learnings from those incidents from their life and dedicates around one third of the total time to those learnings. As listeners of this community, we practice not being non-judgmental. And while listening to whole story, we try to reflect back on our own life. So this is a time wherein you sit back and while listening to that beautiful story, think about what you would have done. Think about if you face a similar situation, or if you've already faced something similar, what did you do? Looking back in your life, can you bring out something valuable today? That's the whole intent. At the end, after the speaker has finished the story, the floor is open for all the people present. You get 1.5 to 2 minutes to reflect on what you have just heard. So those are the simple rules. And let me introduce the speaker for tonight, Rashi. Rashi is a nutrition and wellness coach and the owner and founder of Holistic Daily. Her mission is to help people reclaim their health and well being by aligning their mind, body, and emotions and have fun along the way. Now, that's interesting. Having fun while exercising. That's interesting. Or having fun while not eating the cake. But that aside, she loves dancing, meditating, cooking, creating, and breathing. Apart from coaching, she has developed over 100 recipes for a cafe in Hyderabad. And that explains why she's in Hyderabad over a weekend. Her biggest joy in seeing her clients is in seeing her clients unlock self-love and self-compassion from being underconfident and a victim to now helping people develop self-confidence and live as their authentic selves. Rashi has come a full circle. Before I hand over the stage to Rashi, I have a quick question. So Rashi, किचन में जो चने थे वो कहाँ गए?
मैंने सब खा लिया, हम उसमें चले गए.
So Rashi is also famous for one of the memes which broke the internet during the lockdown. And I hand over the stage to Rashi. Let us welcome her with a round of applause. Rashi, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. And thank you so much for making the time today. I know this call had to be rescheduled because of something unforeseen that came up. So I apologize for the inconvenience, but thank you for making it today anyway. My story is called Look Within and Surrender, and I'm going to be I'm going to be communicating this message through my relationship with food and also how that led me to my purpose, which I'm living today and which continues to evolve. And for that, I need to give you a backstory into my childhood because all of us obviously carry baggage and trauma from our childhoods, and all of our trauma is unique, which leads to our story. And mine involves an emotionally abusive father who was extremely violent and very controlling. And as a child, I was in a very unstable environment. I used to have nightmares. I was underconfident. And my parents were constantly fighting. So I mostly just felt unloved and unworthy. My mother had to leave the house a lot of times. So I'd be like pulled out of the house and then I'd be brought back into the house. We'd go to my nanny's house and come back. And this would happen every year. So there was a lot of instability in my life. And as a result of that, I turned to food and I started eating a lot of food because I just was trying to fill myself up in the absence of love and worthiness with food. And so obviously I gained weight. I became overweight. As a child, I was shopping in the adult section. And as a result of that, even my friends in school would bully me. So I had no friends till the time I was 18, actually. I would come back home and cry every day after school. And so I was bullied for being a slow runner, for being fat. And I guess children are just not that conscious of another person's feelings. So my childhood was pretty difficult, and I have blocked out a lot of memories since then. But at the age of 13, I remember looking at myself in the mirror and saying, you know, this is enough. I want to do this for myself. I don't like it who I'm look. I don't like who I look like when I see myself in the mirror. And at that point, the only tool or the only solution I could find to feeling better was to lose weight. So at 13, 14, I started losing weight, and I consistently lost weight till the age of 18. My parents also separated at the age of 18. So I had a lot of unresolved emotions, not just from my childhood, but when my parents separated, I had to be strong for my mother and be the pillar because everyone was giving their attention to her, and led to me feeling even more unloved and unworthy. Not that it was anyone's fault, but that's how I felt as a child. So I never processed my emotions of shock, anger, loneliness, and abandonment. And because I'm blessed with such a strong willpower, I just focused all my attention on just continuing to lose weight. And I lost weight, lost weight, lost weight. And at the age of 19, someone saw me and they were like, you know what? Have you tried modeling? Because by this time I was 6 feet and I'd lost a decent amount of weight. And if I had to model and get into Bombay professionally, I had to lose even more weight. And so I got so addicted to seeing the scale decrease. And then even modeling was really not a very, it was not a very supportive environment. It's pretty toxic. Everything is just based on your looks. One day someone's telling you you're too skinny. One day they're telling you you're too fat. One day someone's telling you you're pretty. One day they're saying your nose is too big. So it was really confusing. And I moved out of home at 21 to model professionally in Bombay. But it so happened that my obsession with losing weight had reached another extreme, which led to multiple eating disorders and led to me fainting at a fashion show, thankfully not on stage, but I did faint in the hotel room, and my mom had to come and pick me up. I remember very clearly. And I was so weak, I could not get off the bed, but my fear was so large that I refused to eat even a piece of bread or some sugar. That was the only thing that my body could process at that point. And then I got out of modeling and I went and studied in France. I went and studied luxury brand management. And that was the first time I spent so much time alone. I think I spent a total of 5 days without speaking because there was no one around me when I initially went to France. But I had so much time to reflect then. And that's when I really got very clear on my connection to the universe. And I spent a lot of time on my physical body, but I felt like there was still some sort of disconnection. Like I felt connected to the universe, but I felt like, you know, वो connection ज़्यादा नहीं रहती थी. मतलब वो connection constant नहीं थी. It was like, you know, you're moving the radio left and right, and there's a lot of static coming, and you can't tell where the static is coming from. But when I look back and I look at my Facebook posts from then, I was talking so much about the universe and your relationship with yourself and purpose and things like that. And then after that, I came back and I worked in PR, which is I got into fashion and I managed fashion PR, but I found that very toxic as well. And that led me to working with Nike, which was actually one of my dream companies. And it was at Nike where my perception of fitness changed, because till then it was just about being a size zero, being skinny. And at this point, I was shopping in the kids section. Okay. From being a child shopping in the adult section, I turned into an adult shopping in the kids section at 6 feet tall. And I don't know, like, you know, I was exposed to so many athletes, like these strong individuals who were so physically strong, and trainers who looked at health as strength and not as being skinny. And that's where my relationship with food began to evolve. And that's when I decided that I don't want to fear sugar anymore. I don't want to fear carbs anymore. I just want to feel strong and healthy in my body. And around the same time, I had people approaching me on Instagram asking me, hey, will you give us a diet plan? And I was just chronicling my own journey at that point of time. So I was like, to really eliminate the fear of anything, you have to really know what it's about. And so I decided to get certified in nutrition. And when I got so clear on what nutrition was, I really did heal my relationship with food. And at around that time, I was actually going to move in with my then future fiance or partner in Bombay. So I quit my job saying, okay, let me try being a nutritionist. So I quit my job at Nike. And the day I was supposed to move in with my fiance, he broke up with me. So all my stuff was in his house, and and I had quit my job. So I was at a place where you have nothing, like you have zero. But because of everything I had been through in life, I knew that life was going to give me something next. And I knew I was going to be looked after. And sure enough, I was. This job in Hyderabad showed up where I joined as a consultant, developed recipes, had so much fun just channeling all my pain into creation. And some, like just an acquaintance just said, you know what, till the time you stand up on your feet, why don't you stay with me in Bombay? And from having no place to stay to having two cities to live in, I mean, I can't even tell you how magical that was and how grateful I am for it. And the way people stood next to me during that time. And after that, I studied more about nutrition. I studied more about the mind and emotions. And most importantly, I went to therapy. Because of that breakup, I went to therapy. And that is why I'm so grateful for that breakup, because it made me realize that everything that was happening in life, right from my eating disorder to the breakup and everything else, was a result of my trauma as a child. So my relationship with food was just an expression of unprocessed emotions. The fact that my boyfriends kept breaking up with me or abandoning me was a result of my abandonment issues. And it just gave me, I think I've always felt so much power in knowing that I am responsible for my own life and no one else is. And this gave me a completely different responsibility in a way that I realized that I create my own life. And after all my healing and therapy, I was led to a coach who taught me more about the mind, and I studied more about emotions and spirit and the universe and the law of attraction. And now I'm at a space where I am coaching people and helping them understand the relationship between their mind, body, and emotions, giving them frameworks for nutrition in a manner where they can develop a healthier relationship with food and their body, change limiting beliefs, conquer fear, live their purpose, stand up for themselves, and process their emotions, which I just believe is so important, but people don't talk about emotional intelligence and processing emotions. And it is so fulfilling to be here and in knowing that all my pain was leading to this purpose. And therefore, I'm so grateful for every single challenge that showed up in my life, because I would not be here changing the world one person at a time, even if it's just 10 people who I managed to change, if it was not for all of that pain. And this is why it says look within and surrender, because anything, no matter what life has given you, no matter what pain you have, as long as you take the responsibility and look within and say, what can I do to move forward, and what can I do to change this pain into purpose, you will move forward, because the universe just, it's like it parts the Red Sea for you. Okay. And the path just shows up. So, like Mudit said, from having no self confidence or self love to now coaching people and facilitating their own journey of self love, I've come a full circle. And I have realized through how things worked out that you really don't have any control over how life turns out for you, but there is a destined path for you. And that the only thing that we have control over is how we choose to feel in this moment and how we choose to respond in this moment. And that choice, as long as it aligns with who and what you want to be in the future, is all you have in this moment, and everything else will align. And so I'm going to look at my notes at this point, because I had some like very deep thoughts and I was like, I need to write them down. But yeah, so maybe it's a good thing that we don't have control, because our lives play out in a manner that is beyond our wildest dreams. And as I look back, I realize that life is happening for us, not to us. There is purpose behind the pain, and every single second is exactly where it needs to be. Our only job is to look within and to live to our highest potential and surrender to the highest possible outcome, and then sit back and witness the beautiful unfolding of this magic that we call life. That was my story. Thank you for listening.
Wow. So the last paragraph that you just read out, if I could request you, could you just read out the last two lines again?
Yeah, sure. Every single second is exactly where it needs to be. Our only job is to look within and live to our highest potential and surrender to the highest possible outcome, and then sit back and witness the beautiful unfolding of this magic that we call life.
That was profound. And thank you so much for writing it down and putting it here for all of us. Thank you so much, Rashi. And that was the way you put it, your whole journey of life. I am really taken aback because there was a lot of pain, but the way you've put your story shows the frame of mind you are now and that you have overcome every obstacle you faced. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
On that note, let me invite Shivangi, who joins us after a gap. So Shivangi, if you're here, you may unmute and jump right in with the reflection. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Let's hear it from Arun. Unmute and go right in.
Hi, everyone. Rashi, your story was phenomenal. Uh, it's I always think that the way you think up to a situation. If you are in a particular situation, it's your point of view which makes you. If you think it is it's bad, then it is bad. If you think that it is a problem, I can solve it. It will give you some courage. So your story reminds me that thing that if you are into a particular situation, you are learning something, and you are getting an experience out of that, and your life is your story and your life is full of experiences, and that's why you are you're not blaming yourself for the things which were not in your control since your childhood, because it is our childhood which forms us, or which forms our identity. Most part of the our identity forms in those 5-7 years, and it remains with us throughout our life, until and unless we consciously see and ponder that what is there, what is why I think in that manner, why I do such things in that manner. Till then you are not able to control, or you're able to correct things, or correct things, or do certain things in according to you. Otherwise you're going to think in that fashion only. So I just congratulate you that you overcome those things, and you are spreading positivity, and you are making people come out of those traumas of their childhoods or their lives. So kudos to you and your story.
I think we lost him.
Thank you, Arun. And
Thank you, Arun.
I think you're frozen now, but we got you. We got your message. And really, the story was profound, and it does speak a lot about the strength you've shown, Rashi. I would like to call up Suman to reflect on what she just heard.
Hello, Rashi.
Hi, Suman.
Hi, I'm following you on Insta and you're doing so well.
Thank
I
you.
mean, right now I heard your story and you means your appearance doesn't seem that you are fat on in your childhood. You are right now you are so slim and trim that I can't even imagine. And your story is means you come out your story so well, your trauma and everything. Means what you said is that whatever comes to your way, you can't control that. What you can do is handle that situation in a certain way. So that thing is great, and you only have that is that only means what can I say? Means only you can cope up with that situations by doing what is best to that situation, and you are doing that, and you are helping people to come out that some kind of traumas and helping people. That is so great, and thanks to you, and all the very best for the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Suman. And that reminds me that you started, Rashi, with a full circle. Your story was a full circle about yourself recovering from the mental trauma. Plus, you mentioned that when you were a kid, you were shopping in the adult section, and when you were an adult, you were shopping in the kids section. So I wonder whether you have got a full circle on that as well. And the question is, where,
Yeah.
which section are you shopping now?
I'm an adult shopping in the adult section.
All right, that's a happy probably end to it. And I I saw Shivangi logging in. So Shivangi, if you're there, you can come right in.
Hi everyone. How are you all?
Hi, Shivangi.
Hello.
Hi Rashi. So they say everything happens for good. So probably, and everything happens for a reason. So I generally don't attend the sessions on Saturday because of my work commitments. And your session, I mean, you had some reason that you couldn't do it on Saturday. Probably it was. I mean, I was I was to hear your session. Probably that's the reason it got shifted here.
Yeah.
I felt really nice to hear you, yaar. Matlab, the way you have orated everything, it's like, oh, it was so easy. But when you actually hear out the words and the things you have gone through, I mean, इतना easily कौन बताता है, इतना सब हो चुका है life में. So it's really commendable. I mean, the courage which you have, and probably the willpower and the strength you have to overcome things is visible in the way you talk about it. Obviously, it would have been really difficult, but you stood up, and now you are doing so great. I mean, I'm talking to you for the first time. I don't know what all you do, but definitely I'll follow you on Insta. So, but all I can see is you are such a powerful person with so much of energy, so much of positivity. I resonate a lot with your thought process in terms of universe and the things, how they fall and all, how to overcome the things. So I was feeling so connected to you. Even though you have a different story, but I was feeling good that I am able to hear you, I am able to know you, and I mean, right from start till the end, you were smiling and telling the dramatic story which you had. I mean, it's I can't imagine somebody saying it so easily.
Thank
So
you.
kudos to you. You're a bravo.
Thank you. You know, I'd like to add
to know
something here.
about
When
you.
you're saying so easily, and I'm smiling, it's because I think that now we're in an age where people are glamorizing healing. And I really believe that you don't always have to continuously stay in your past. And I used to be that person, right? Where I would use my past to validate my present, or use my past to kind of please my ego कि ये होने के बाद भी मैं ये कर रही हूँ, right? And I think all of us have that. It's a very natural tendency of being human.
That's tendency, human
Yeah.
tendency.
But I realized that our true power only unfolds when we detach from the trauma and don't glamorize the healing or the trauma or the pain, because ultimately that pain can be resolved in the present without consistently living in the past, right? So the job of a healer is to help you move forward, or the purpose of healing is to move forward and not constantly carry that pain through your life, because that's the only way the magic can unfold in its full potential. So therefore, I think the easiness. I think if you'd met me 3 years ago, you'd probably see how my ego wanted to sort of play out the story versus how it is now. And that's only thanks to like therapy and the coaching and the deeper mindset work that I've done.
That's nice. Actually, that was deep and profound. Thanks for sharing this.
You're welcome.
Definitely gives me a lot of thoughts, and I'll actually go through my thought process also. So thanks for sharing it,
Thank you.
and good to know about you, Rashi.
Same here.
Thanks.
Thank you, Shivangi. And it was interesting the way you said that probably a couple of years back, or maybe some time back, if you narrated the same story, it would have been different. And that shows the kind of maturity or the growth cycle you are going through, and that's commendable.
Thank you.
On that note, let's hear it from Simar, who has been listening to the story intently, and I'm sure he has some insights on it.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Rashi.
Hi.
First of all, I have to say it was a power-packed story. You've lived through such trials and tribulations, and you succeeded in redeeming your misfortunes, which were foisted upon you and were not of your own making. I think you're very brave. But there are two things that I noticed in your story. The first was, my observation was regarding the fact that since you had an emotionally abusive parent at home, and one fine day you decide that you have to take things in your hand, and the first thing that comes to your mind was losing weight, because you had been gaining a lot of weight, because that was giving you comfort, so you decided to fight it by losing weight, and you clung to it, and it's still with you, and it matters to you even now, at this day, at this time, and totally yourself, or somewhat, although the trauma lives on, or part of the trauma always lives on. But I think this is a particular trait of people who've have emotionally abusive parents, wherein the things that you cling on to at that point of time, and the things that give you comfort at that point of time, they really matter for the rest of your life. That is one thing that I really liked to and observed and noticed in your powerful story. The other thing was the fact that you had breakups, and those were definitely tough, and I wish I had known you back then, because I also had a lot of breakups, and it was a very difficult time for me. I think we could have probably shared our misfortunes together. But the other thing is, as they say, it's better to have loved and lost and learned rather than not loved at all. So it's a learning experience. I mean, life is a learning experience. And now, having gone through all the rigor, now you've become a coach, and you're trying to contribute in your whatever way possible. And I hope this is a great effort on your part, and I hope you continue to do well, and good luck with all your uh, efforts. Thank you for sharing your story once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simar. And let us hear it from Vijay, who has been listening to the story intently, and I'm sure waiting in a hotel, he would have reflected back on it.
Thank you, Mudit. Thank you, Rashi, for sharing your story. It was really wonderful story, really, really. Actually, you're very brave, I can say. How the presentation was very nice. How you presented your traumas, everything. Whenever I was just watching, whenever you have saying something very like harsh things, you are putting little bit more laugh. You're laughing a little bit louder. So that's good. I think that's a very good thing. You are putting your past behind. How well you have put your past behind, and how you have become now a person. Nobody can say you were fat or something. You look stunning.
Thank you.
And like in emotional part, I can say you had a lot of breakups and all. I hope वो कहते हैं ना कौन सी मूवी में था settle हो गए life में. If you're not settled down still, we can help you out. Don't worry.
Thank you.
So you use a lot of good words. Yeah, purpose. You like, as I can make out, you want to live every moment, enjoy maximum whatever opportunity you got. Every moment enjoy. I think those are few qualities. The word you said, you are responsible. You are only responsible for everything. These are the few things I liked actually. I also recently started this. You are responsible for everything. Like used to blame everything. Ah, this happened in my life because of that thing. That year was so bad. A lot of things were going around. The world was so not good with me. But now I can connect with that. That of course, if you look harder, you could have made more efforts, and could have been life could have been a little different. So as you said, it's right. You are responsible for everything. And whatever you miss, I hope in your future life, whatever shortcomings, you will get full loved by everyone. Good luck to your life. Thanks for sharing your life.
Thank you. I am. There's so much love in my life. I'm so grateful for it. I think there was love, but I just couldn't see it because I was again being a victim and I was blaming life. But the minute you take responsibility, you see everything that you thought you didn't have, and it's right there for you.
Nice to hear that. You are loved. Nice. Thank you, Rashi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay. Let's hear it from Rishi, who has been probably switched off with the video, but I'm sure he's there.
Hey, yeah, very much. Thanks a lot, Rashi, for sharing your story, and very, very intense and very engaging. And I think there were many parts that I could relate to. like reaching a low point. And I think a lot of stories of people who have evolved in life have happened because they've gone through some tough times. And that is the way of the universe, I guess, right? Nothing comes for free. So you have to go through pain, and then, you go through transformation. And at that point, you want to, share it with, folks who really need it. So I think that, was very, very clear in your story. And thanks for sharing. It was deeply touching. And I think kudos to you for braving all the difficulties. And many things resonated with me. Like I've also gone through my share of tough times when I was growing up. And that led me to a path of mindfulness and stuff. And I've been teaching mindfulness at Google and other places. And so I could resonate that part, like you go through your own personal struggle and then you see what worked for you. And then you try to align your energy with the energy of universe. So yeah, thanks for sharing. And I would love to hear more about your nutrition program and stuff, because I think I need it. So definitely we should connect and let me know how best to reach out to you.
Yeah, I think Instagram is the best, or my website is the best, but Rakesh has my number, so you can always take it from him and get in touch.
Sure, yeah, we'll do.
Thank you so much, Rishi.
Sure.
Thank you, Rishi, for those insights. And let's hear it from the person with the blue background, the blue screen. Rakesh.
Yeah. Thank you, Mudit, and thank you, Rashi. That was mind blowing. It is like some sort of international TED talk or something like that.
Oh my god! Thank you.
Yeah, it was like.
Video पे जरूर डालना फिर.
And it is we are fortunate that we have you on Karwan. That's the more important thing, and it really shook me up because I know you from a lot of from 1.5 year or 1 year, and then I read your story in book also, Alchemy. So, and after that also some of the connections, I was knowing you and all that, but I never expected all this which you told today. And it was great, means how you narrated all these things. And it was means difficult, means even till today, means the thing which you brought was the emotional processing. Means till today even I am not processing my emotions properly. I could relate to that point, because many of the emotions we hide it and we buried it, and it is there, and then these emotions come out in a difficult and ugly faces. So that is still, means I am into also coaching, but still I understood that that emotional processing is still needed for me. And thank you for bringing out that in this talk, so that I could go into my emotional things, and I could try to process these emotions more. And the other thing which I notice is the energy and the vibes which you vibrate every time you come on the screen. And let me share you, when day before yesterday she called me that please, can you postpone the talk to, means from Saturday to Sunday. And the first thing which I hear you, hello Rakesh, and that is it. Means you bring so much energy and vibes in that. So means it was mind blowing. Means it was very, means clear that it is coming from deep inside an authentic self. So that was clearly I could visualize, means feel that I could feel. So means I will also try to imbibe those energy and vibes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Rakesh. Thank you for sharing your challenges, and thank you for those beautiful words.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I absolutely second what Rakesh said, that your talk was top notch, and it seemed as if we are listening to a TED, more so because you have lived through those experiences, and then you have also overcome those experiences and left the baggage of the past behind. So thank you for sharing your life so openly with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And this is the time we go in for the photos. So Simran has joined us for the first time. So Simran, probably you can switch on your camera and hellos. So we are ending the session, Simran. Sorry that you joined in late.
I got late.
No worries. So what we can do is you can quickly introduce yourself and we'll have you from the next session.
Hi guys, my name is Simran. I am 20 years old and I met Mudit sir. I know Mudit sir through Toastmasters and Rakesh sir as well. And this is my first time in this session. So I got late, but I'll try to be punctual from the next time. And I hope I listen to all of you speak the next time. And I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. And let us switch on our camera. So Rishi and Arun, I hope your camera is on because like you are very still. No, I was kidding. I can see you. Yeah, that background is perfectly fine, Rishi. You can. So on the count of 3, let me just quickly find out how I'm going to take it. Okay. I'll count 3. So, and it has been just quickly. Let us bring out a pose which shows the strength. So the whole conversation that we were having was about strength, and everyone felt that Rashi showed a lot of strength in overcoming the struggles of her life. So, what would be the pose that you would like to give to life if you want to show strength to all the obstacles that come your way? What would be that one pose? Just bring it on. All right, so I'm waiting. Just bring it on. 1, 2, and 3.
Done.
Thank you. I got
it.
All right. Is frozen or is it my internet or is it yours?
It's yours.
I think yours.
Okay,
It's
it is mine.
Now it is okay, I think.
Yeah. Can you hear now?
Yeah.
All right. Can you hear me now? Is it
Yes.
better?
Yes.
Wonderful. I still okay. Bad internet at my end. All right. Yeah. Great, Simran. I'm so thankful to you that you're still oscillating so that I can make up that my internet is fine or not. So thank you. Now I know it's better and you can hear me. Before we end, I just have a small thing, what we have been talking about and what so very strongly was reflected in Rashi's life and learnings and what she shared. We all are damaged. We all have been hurt. We all have had to learn painful lessons. We are all recovering from some mistakes, loss, betrayal, abuse, injustice, or misfortune. All of life is a process of recovery that never ends. We each must find ways to accept and move through the pain and to pick ourselves and back up, just as Rashi did. For each pang of grief, depression, doubt, or despair, there is an inverse towards renewal coming to you in time. Each tragedy is an announcement that some good will indeed come in time. Be patient with yourself. And until next time, join us. Take care and goodbye.
Bye. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Good night.